film's main character is a 23-year-old woman named Noah, who is eager to find a boyfriend. She has tried various online dating platforms and has gone on several dates, but each one has ended in disappointment. On one of these outings, she encounters a man named Chadwick, who proves to be quite foolish. His conversation is filled with misogynistic comments and boasts about his wealth.
The women in our parents' generation, they just cared more about how they dressed and just kind of like how they looked.
And he bluntly states that Noah will be covering their dinner bill. As their dialogue progresses, Noah's irritation grows, leading her to decide to leave. However, Chadwick makes some hurtful remarks, calling her a disappointment who wasted his valuable time.
Okay. Good luck finding a guy, you stuck-up bitch.
Unaccustomed to such negativity, Noah remains silent and walks away. Later, at the gym, she shares her experience with her best friend Molly, expressing her fear of being single forever. Molly reassures her that God is reserving the best man for her. That evening, while at a local supermarket, Noah runs into a man named Steve. They quickly connect over their mutual fondness for cotton candy grapes, and Noah finds herself captivated by his charm. Before parting ways, Steve unexpectedly asks for her phone number, and in her eagerness, Noah gives it to him without a second thought.
I think we're going to talk about the grapes, and then I can tell them that I met someone else. It feels the same.
Sure, makes sense, yeah.
The next day, she excitedly tells Molly about Steve, describing him as attractive and pleasant, but she laments that he hasn't reached out yet. Molly quips that he might be married. Just as Noah is heading home, she receives a call from Steve, who promptly asks her out on a date. Noah is surprised by the unexpected adventure that comes her way. Despite her initial shock, her desperation leads her to agree without much hesitation. During their date, Steve and Noah open up about their pasts. He shares that he is a surgeon from Texas and has just moved to the area.
Doctor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
In response, Noah reveals that she has recently graduated from college and is on the hunt for a job. They bond over their shared experience of living independently without parental support. Steve also mentions that his dedication to work leaves him little time for social media. After their date, Noah invites him to her apartment. Things heat up, and they share a romantic evening together. The next morning, Noah wakes up feeling rejuvenated, the happiest she has felt in a long time. She secretly snaps a photo of a sleeping Steve and calls her best friend Molly to recount the details of her wonderful night. Molly is thrilled for her, but finds it odd that Steve has no online presence.
What's his Instagram? I want to stalk a little bit.
He doesn't have one.
Say what?
Yeah.
What you mean?
As they chat, Noah brings up that Molly's ex-boyfriend Paul was bartending at the restaurant the previous night. It comes to light that Molly recently came out as a lesbian and ended her relationship with Paul. The next evening, Noah meets Steve again. While enjoying takeout, they delve deeper into their lives. Noah mentions her best friend Molly, who knows all her secrets. After finishing their meal, Steve proposes they dance. Although Noah hesitates at first, she ends up enjoying herself immensely. Eventually, they tire out and take a seat. Suddenly, Steve asks Noah if she would like to join him on a weekend getaway. She inquires about their destination, but he keeps it under wraps, thinking it would be more thrilling to raise every possible alarm. Despite this, she agrees to go along, having developed feelings for him. After Steve leaves, Noah reaches out to her best friend to share the news of their upcoming adventure. Molly expresses concern since Noah is dating someone she hardly knows, but Noah reassures her that everything will be all right, even sending a picture of Steve, claiming he's perfect. The next day, Steve takes Noah to his home, mentioning they'll set off for their trip early the next morning. Noah, unsuspecting, agrees, unaware of the surprises ahead. She attempts to text Molly her whereabouts, but her phone struggles with a weak signal. After hours of driving, they arrive at a suspicious-looking house, isolated from the city. Noah feels uneasy but remains silent for now. Eventually, Steve prepares a drink for her, challenging her to guess its ingredients. However, after taking a sip, Noah quickly feels lightheaded and loses consciousness. When she wakes up, she finds herself chained in a room. Steve admits to drugging her, leaving Noah bewildered and frightened. He then reveals a shocking truth. He is a cannibal who consumes human flesh and sells it to affluent clients.
I'm gonna sell you. People pay me a lot of money for it.
He explains that many of his customers prefer the meat of young women, which is why he lures and abducts them under the guise of dates. He ominously states his intention to keep her alive for as long as possible, to ensure the freshness of her planning to remove her body parts gradually. Terrified for her life, Noah attempts to resist, but Steve easily subdues her. Once he leaves, Noah cries out for help in desperation. A woman named Penny from the next room responds, disclosing that Steve has abducted multiple women in this place. As the two women converse, they discover they are both orphans. This indicates that Steve specifically targets women without parents, knowing that no one will come searching for them. Suddenly, another woman begins to sing, and Penny reveals that it's Melissa, another victim of Steve, who has lost her sanity after her abduction. Meanwhile, Molly grows concerned after not hearing from her friend for some time. She sends a few messages, and to her surprise, Steve replies using Noah's phone. He claims they are unwinding at a cottage far from the city and sends her a picture of a stunning waterfall, stating that Noah plans to turn off her phone temporarily to disconnect from technology and enjoy nature. Knowing her best friend well, Molly senses something is off. People don't typically express enjoyment in such a way unless they're fabricating a false persona for dating apps. Therefore, she searches for the waterfall image online and discovers it's a stock photo from a random site. Meanwhile, Steve approaches Noah again, this time with a softer demeanor. He offers her new clothes and allows her to take a shower. Seizing this opportunity, Noah attempts to escape, but Steve captures her once more. He then drags her to the surgery room and punishes her by removing her buttocks. Elsewhere, Molly begins her search for her best friend. She first visits her ex-boyfriend Paul's restaurant, where Noah had her initial date with Steve. They exchange awkward greetings, and Molly gets right to the point.
She's texting me, but I don't think it's her.
Why not? She white, right?
Don't do that.
Asking Paul if he knows anything about this Steve character. The bartender seems a bit reluctant, as he cannot disclose client information, but with Molly pressing him, he has no option but to acquiesce. Paul then discloses that the man's real name is Brendan Camp. Later, Molly heads home and looks up the name online. She discovers that he is married to a woman named Anne and has 2 kids. Following this, Molly decides to visit Anne. She also texts Paul the location, asking him to check on her if anything goes awry. Meanwhile, at the butcher house, Noah finds out that she is the only victim Steve has been intimate with, suggesting he may have a soft spot for her. Noah then resolves to exploit this knowledge. From that point on, she ceases to resist and attempts to seduce Steve at every opportunity. She even expresses a newfound curiosity about human meat, claiming she wants to try it. In the next scene, Molly arrives at Anne's location and immediately discloses that her husband has been seeing other women. Anne appears taken aback by this news and invites Molly in for a discussion. Unfortunately, as they dig deeper into their conversation, Steve unexpectedly arrives. He acts nonchalant and feigns ignorance about anyone named Noah. This somewhat convinces Molly, leading her to believe she has mistakenly entered the wrong house. However, before she departs, she calls her friend again. To her astonishment, the phone rings from Steve's pocket, revealing him as the kidnapper. Now that his cover is blown, Steve slyly remarks that she shouldn't have come in. Molly attempts to flee, but before she can escape, Anne knocks her out from behind. It turns out she is also a cannibal ally of Steve, and they likely have little cannibal offspring as well. Sometime later, Steve relocates Molly to a secluded butcher house in the woods. He returns to Noah, providing her with new attire and extending an invitation for dinner. In a different scene, Anne is seen in the bathroom, revealing her prosthetic leg, hinting that she was once a victim of Steve before marrying him. During dinner, a deep conversation unfolds between Steve and Noah, resembling that of a couple. She asks about his entry into this line of work, and he recounts his first experience with human at 18. Initially fearful of the police, he soon became addicted to the taste. Over the years, he developed a hunger for and befriended others with similar appetites. Eventually, he discovered a community willing to pay handsomely for this rare delicacy. After sharing his story, Steve offers Noah a taste of Although repulsed, she feigns enjoyment to maintain her facade. After dinner, Steve takes Molly away for his sinister intentions. Meanwhile, Paul grows anxious after not hearing from his ex-girlfriend and begins searching for her. In the next scene, Steve invites Noah for another dinner, and she appears to have earned his trust, evident when he gifts her a beautiful pink dress. Later, as Noah eats more, Steve reveals it to be Melissa, which horrifies her, though she conceals her reaction. After dinner, Steve shows her a hidden area filled with belongings from his victims, indicating a history of abduction and murder. He then shares a disturbing fact. His clients enjoy keeping items from the women they feeling a connection to their food. At that moment, Noah spots Molly's phone in the corner, realizing her best friend had come searching for her and had become another victim. Enraged, Noah resolves to take immediate action, aware that Steve's temperament could shift at any moment. Summoning her courage, she boldly asks him for a dance. To her surprise, he agrees and even removes her restraints. After creating a romantic atmosphere with their dance, she guides him to his room under the guise of wanting to please him. However, instead of indulging him, she viciously bites off his Noah quickly seizes the keys and escapes while Steve writhes in agony. She soon finds the compartment where the other captives are kept. Most appear lifeless, except for Penny and her close friend Molly. Noah swiftly frees them, and the three of them make a break for it. Suddenly, a castrated Steve appears and attacks. A fierce struggle ensues, and despite being outnumbered and injured, he manages to overpower the women. Eventually, exhaustion takes its toll, and he is knocked out. The girls grab Molly's phone to flee, but their progress is hindered when they realize Penny is missing a limb. Just then, Steve reappears, brandishing a gun. He fires several shots, all of which miss. Meanwhile, Paul arrives outside the house, likely following the GPS on Molly's phone, only to meet his demise just in time to hear the gunfire. He bolts away, which might be for the best. The girls notice this and understand that help won't arrive soon, prompting them to take action. They quickly devise a plan and scatter in different directions to confuse the castrated cannibal. When Steve lunges at one of them, the trio unites to beat him mercilessly. Noah then retrieves his own gun and finishes him off. Afterward, they attempt to call for help using Molly's phone, but it unexpectedly shuts down. Eventually, Anne arrives, searching for her husband. Upon discovering his lifeless form on the ground, her fury ignites, leading her to confront Noah. The two women engage in a fierce struggle, with Anne seemingly gaining the advantage. Just when it seems dire, Molly appears just in time, wielding a shovel to strike Anne repeatedly until she succumbs. In the closing moments, as Molly and Noah attempt to process the chaos, Noah receives a text from Chadwick.